Okay, so let's talk about the final exam for the Principles of Accounting 1 in the fall 2024 semester. So it's organized in a very similar way that the midterm was. And what I mean by that, why can't we see it? I'm missing here. Oh, there it is. Okay, so week 16, final exam. So what I mean by that is, as you probably remember, the um, the midterm covered the first what was it, 8 chapters, I think. That sounds about right. It was the first 8 chapters. The midterm covered the first 8 chapters of the course, first 8 weeks. That was all covered on the midterm exam. Uh, and I'm pretty sure it's around the same number of questions, probably pretty close. Um, the final exam is organized in a very similar way. The final exam covers the last 8 weeks of the course. So weeks 9 to 16 are covered on the final exam. So that would be, I think, chapter 9 to 16, if I'm not mistaken. So here's how the exam looks and is structured. If we scroll through and just kind of look at the questions, the first question has to do with notes receivable. Okay. And it says note receivable and promise to pay the principal and interest is so the person who signs the note receivable and promises to pay the principal and interest is man, don't get that wrong. That one's kind of a give me, isn't it? Um, that's question one. Question two, accounts receivable turnover measures. This is the definition of accounts receivable turnover. Don't get that wrong. That's a definition question. Question three, company uses direct write-off method for uncollectible accounts. So I'm thinking about those first 3 questions, right? Let's say first 5 questions, okay? Bad debt expense. Let's see. Note dishonored. Those first 5 questions immediately draws my attention to accounting for receivables, because those are all those are all receivables questions. Just by looking at the questions, I could tell that. So I come down to week 9. I look at I'm going to look two places. First, I'm going to look instruction materials and open up my PowerPoint. Okay, and I'll go back to my exam. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I must have closed the exam out. Go back to my exam. And I'm reading the question. Note receivable, account receivable turnover, uncollectible accounts using the direct write-off method, percentage of sales estimating bad debt, and the note dishonor, right? So those are all account receivable questions. So the first 5 questions I know are going to come from chapter 9, accounting for receivables. And if I just come down, just looking at the PowerPoint presentation, I could start finding that stuff. Direct write-off method, there it is. Okay, great. There's 2 methods, direct and allowance. Here's direct. If I work through this example, the direct write-off method example, And in looking at that question, direct write-off method, what was that, question 3? I can figure that out, right? So if I work through this, I can figure it out. Direct write-off method tells me about it, reading through, no problem. I can figure that out. Now, here's the other interesting thing. If I go to my quiz, my Chapter 9 quiz, I go to my quiz. Well, isn't that interesting? That's question 2 from the Chapter 9 quiz is the same as question 1 on the final exam. Just a little fun fact, right? Now, if I'm looking a little further, oh, look at that. Question 6 on the Chapter 9 quiz. Well, doesn't that look a whole lot similar to question 3 on the final exam? Question 4. Company uses percentage total sales method, estimating bad debt expense. So that's estimation. I can look at the PowerPoint. Oh, well, isn't that interesting? A similar question. Question 8 looks a whole lot like question 4 on the final exam. Uniform Supply Company. Well, question 10 on the Chapter 9 quiz from week 9 looks a whole lot like question 5 on the final exam. So my recommendation for success, especially for the Chapter 9 questions, which are questions 1 through 5 on the final exam, is to do 2 things. Have your PowerPoint presentation open on a separate tab, okay? And have your Chapter 9 quiz open on a separate tab, okay? So if I already have that one open. If I do those 2 things, I got those 2 things open, okay? I can easily go between and answer those 5 questions for Chapter 9. And then I can click on Save and Close after I answer those first 5 questions for Chapter 9. Then I'll reopen the exam and I'll move on to the following week using that same exact process, that same method. I got my PowerPoint presentation open for Chapter 10, okay, which is all about, let me see here. Forget Chapter 10. And I'll open up my quiz, Chapter 10, week 10. Look at that. Oh, interesting. Chapter 10 quiz, PowerPoint presentation for Chapter 10 whenever it decides to open. I got them 2 things open. I go to my final exam. Start with question 6. Wow, question 6. Look at this. Merchant company purchased land for a building site. Let me look at the quiz for Chapter 10. Oh my goodness. That is a really similar question. In fact, it's the same question. So Chapter 10, it even looks like they kind of even almost go a little bit in order. Well, a little jumbled, but you see what I'm getting at. And of course, some of them are going to be different questions. But I can tell you that questions 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, there's a really great chance that you probably saw questions like them. And there's an awesome chance that those questions 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, they come from chapter 10. So what I'll do is I'll have my PowerPoint presentation open. I'll have my chapter 10 quiz open. And I'll answer questions 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 on the final exam. Then guess what? Click Save and Close. You'll come back, you'll close out your other tabs and open up the next one, chapter 11 and week 11. And you go through that same exact process again. Now, what you're seeing here is a very methodical way to help you to pass the final exam. I recommend that you go in order. So the first 5 questions on the final exam come from week 9, chapter 9. The next 5 questions on the final exam, that's questions 6 through 10, come from chapter 10. Just as you might suspect, there's going to be a process here. It's going to go in order. So guess what? Chapter 11, talking about liabilities, current liabilities and payroll. Well, look at that, current liabilities and payroll. Questions 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Looks like those come from, believe it or not, chapter 11, week 11, so forth and so on. You can see very clearly that there are a minimum of 5 questions per chapter, starting with chapter 9 and working your way through chapter 16. Go in order. Go in order. Start with chapter 9, answer the first 5 questions, save and close, then do chapter 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. The math is pretty close, right? So there's about 5 questions per chapter, and they go in order, right? Each question is worth 4 points. There's 50 questions total. Yeah, of course, some of them are math. Of course there are. This is accounting. But a lot of it's formula driven. It's all formula driven. If you know the formula, you'll be able to solve the question. If you didn't do the question well on the quiz, use the formula, right? It's going to help you to answer the question on the final. But if you go in order, there's about roughly 5 questions per chapter. Chapters 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 are on the final exam. That's 8 chapters. Roughly 5 questions per chapter. That'll get you through the exam. If you go in order, do 5 questions, save and close, come back to it, save and close, come back to it, save and close. When you've answered all 50 questions, submit it. It's not timed. There's no timer here. It's open now. So if you want to start it now, you can start it. If you want to start it tonight, go for it. Final exam is due on the 17th, which is next Tuesday. So you have 7 days to complete the final exam. But it has to be done by the 17th. I can't do it later than that. All right. So I got to submit your final grades. Questions on the final exam?
None from me. Thank you for giving me the method. I appreciate that.
The method always works. Joy, what do you think about the method?
I think it's amazing.
I'm very methodical in the way that I design things.
Yes, so appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my ultimate goal is to make sure that you all get through this stuff, and that's why I designed it this way. But if you do it that way, if you do 5 questions at a time, start with chapter 9, go in order, open up your PowerPoint, open up your quiz, answer the 5 questions, save and close, come back and do the next batch of 5. If you do it that way, take little breaks in between, I promise you, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to ace this exam.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome, Joy. You know, my goal is to make sure that you're all well and doing well, and I try my best to make sure I do right by y'all. So so that's the final. So you have 2 deliverables that you need to make sure that are accomplished in the next few days. So the first deliverable that you have is the chapter 16 quiz, which is due on the 13th. Okay, so 13th is like 3 days from now. It's Friday. So make sure that you complete your chapter 16 quiz by Friday. It goes over what we just talked about in the presentation for the statement of cash flows. As you can see, the quiz is very, very straightforward. So you'll be all right. I promise you'll be okay. There's, as you know, there's two attempts with the quiz. For the final exam, it's just the 1 attempt. So definitely take your time with it. If you follow the method that I showed you, again, there's no reason why you shouldn't ace that final exam. Final exam is due on the 17th. Chapter 16 quiz due on the 13th. Final exam due on the 17th. We originally had a discussion board for this week, but I decided there's no time for you to do this discussion board, so I gave it to you. I gave you 10 points. So don't say I never gave you nothing. I gave you a gift, okay? I gave you a gift of not having to do that last discussion board, and I gave you an automatic 10 points for it. So that's my gift to you. So again, 2 deliverables, chapter 16 quiz and final exam, chapter 16 quiz. And if you have any past due work, all of that needs to be done by the 13th. That's this Friday. So don't waste any time. Let's make sure we get that done immediately. And then the final exam due on the 17th. That's a week from today. Comments, questions, concerns? Before I give you some additional parting words of advice.
Mono checks out. Thank you.
All right, cool. Right on. Okay, so parting words of advice. A couple things. Number 1 is, if you have not yet registered for Principles of Accounting 2, and you need to take it for your degree program, I am teaching it in person on campus, 7 o'clock Tuesday nights. Okay, Tuesday nights, 7 o'clock. There will be a few times that'll be done on Thursday nights, because there's going to be a couple times on a Tuesday where I'm not going to be able to make it. But it'll be a very similar. It's Principles of Accounting 2 is a much more straightforward class. What I mean by that is we cover about say 12 chapters in that course. There's a small project. There's a couple LinkedIn Learning certificates. It's set up the same exact way that this course is. The methodology is the same. Obviously, the content's a lot different because it's Principles 2. It's a lot of fun in person because I get a lot more interactive. The difference with it being in person is that there won't be discussion boards. There will be participation points for in-class participation. So if you have not yet registered for the course, I'm teaching it in person. It'll be Tuesday nights from 7 o'clock to 8:20. And they'll be at the Lamont Riggs campus, room 304. So if you haven't registered for it, I encourage you to register for it. Otherwise, I think I'll teach it again, probably maybe in the summer, but I'm not sure yet. And I'm not too sure about a year from now because that's too far. But that's all I know about it. So if you haven't registered for it, please do. So I think registration closes relatively soon. So make sure you register for your rest of your courses. So that's my first part of advice. The second part of advice I have for you is to stay in touch with me, even after this course ends. I don't want our relationship to end just because the class stopped. So stay in touch with me, connect with me through LinkedIn. Let me know how you're doing. If you're ever looking for work and you have an interest in accounting, let me know. I'll be happy to get you out there in front of my connections. What else can I tell you? I'll see you around campus. I work very closely with your other professors, like Professor Pearsall and maybe some of your other favorite, not so favorite, sometimes favorite professors, like Professor Sunny and all those guys. So and Professor Spears. I work very closely with all of them. I see them all on a pretty regular basis. And if you come back to campus, I'll be seeing you there. But otherwise, please stay in touch. I hope you got a lot out of this course. I know that it was kind of long. 16 weeks is not a short time, but hopefully you got something out of it and you can use some of this stuff later in life. I'm sure that you will. Even when you don't think you will, you will. You'll use it somehow, some way. And you'll be like, oh yeah, I kind of remember that. But hopefully you got something out of it. Hopefully you learned something. And, I look forward to seeing more of you. And if anything, I'll see you at graduation at some point, whenever that is. And yeah, stay in touch. But thank you all so much for an awesome semester together. I really did appreciate it. I appreciated your willingness to do the hard work and to get it done. I appreciate your tenacity and your sticking with it. I appreciate your willingness to put up with me and my crazy antics sometimes. And sometimes, we had some times where we were doing this at a much further distance. So I appreciate you going with me through all that. And thank you again for an awesome semester. I really do appreciate it. And I hope you stay in touch.
I will.
So
Thank you, Dr. B.
it's
Thank
my
you.
pleasure.
Yeah, B, thank you so much.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. It really is. That's you all are the reason why I do this. I got my passion for teaching because I have a passion for helping other people, and in helping you learn some things that maybe you had a fear of before, or maybe something you were intimidated by. But my goal in life is to help people, and that's why I became a professor, because I wanted to give people my knowledge and to help you through it. Because I remember when I was there, and it's nice to have somebody in your corner. So, but thank you.
You really,
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate all the kind words. But thank you all so much. I appreciate all of you. I wish you all the best. On the final, I know you'll do fine. Just remember the method and work through it, and you'll be okay. Thank you all so much.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you.
Take care.
thank you.
Yes,
Oh,
thank
so
you.
one more thing, Dr. B.
Yeah,
Hey,
go for it.
Professor.
Well,
Hey, Doctor.
in regards
Oh.
to like work opportunities, I
Okay.
did want to actually ask about that. So within
Okay.
either like later today or early tomorrow, I'll send you an email.
Yeah,
about-
please do. Yes, send me an email with your resume and let's talk. Let's talk about what it is that you want to do. And if anything, I'll get you in touch with my contacts, and we'll get you
Yeah,
to the
because I
right
want to
direction.
be able to make sure that I don't lose any of the skills that were taught here and actually
Yeah.
use.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and that's a really important thing. And the great news is, at least for the rest of your degree program, you still have access to the LinkedIn Learning through UDC. And that's one way to help. The other things are I can give you access to other resources, Excel stuff for sure, because that's something employers look at. And and there's a couple of other resources that I use that I can give you access to.
Okay. Thank you so much. I
Hey,
will
my
send
pleasure.
you that email either today or early tomorrow. for
Yeah,
sure.
whenever. I'll respond when I can.
Thank you. You
Hey,
have a
so-
good one. Thank you
Thanks,
so
you
much.
too.
Professor.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Hey, Professor, how are you?
Tanika, good. How are you?
I'm always good, always good.
know that's
we
right.
love your antics. We be in the class laughing. I just had my mom laughing. I think you're funny, so we appreciate you. Hopefully, the whole class, but I know I appreciate you.
Hey, no, I appreciate you saying that, Tanika. Yes, it's been a great ride, and
Definitely.
having you in class, and I know that you got some good stuff out of this. And,
Absolutely, and I'm always gonna be like on your YouTube, going back to check to make sure I still keep up with my knowledge and things that I learned. Be like, oh yeah, it was this and not that. You know how I do. I always go over the videos more than one time so that I could keep it locked in my brain.
For sure. Yeah, no, yeah, that's why I do it, right? So yeah, Tanika, do you have to take Principles 2 with me yet, or no? You don't know.
I am in business administration, so I think
So
that
yes,
I have to take it. So I'm definitely going to see you again, but
Okay.
I have to take finite math first.
800 feet, turn right.
okay, got you.
Because I can't do accounting and finite at the same time. I'm gonna be overwhelmed.
That would not be good. Yes.
So I'm gonna go ahead and get finite out the way because that's my final math, and then I'm gonna come back to you and take principles of accounting too.
That sounds good, Tanika. So what I recommend that you do is knock out your finite in the spring, and then I might be teaching the course in the summer. Not too sure yet.
Okay.
Street southeast.
We usually do offer it in the summer, but this summer might be a little weird. I'm not too sure yet. It's up to whatever UDC wants to do. But definitely in the fall for sure. But if not, hopefully in the summer.
Okay.
Right.
So that way you'll just be, you just knock it out.
That's pretty much what I was gonna say to you. Like, I want to take your class again, but I didn't know when you were gonna be
In a quarter
available.
mile,
And
turn
then I
right
was
onto
gonna
Highway
take it
Southeast.
this semester and just be like, forget about finite. But I remember talking to you before. You were like, go ahead and take the finite first,
Yeah.
and then come back and do principles of accounting too.
It'll help you. It'll help you, especially for Principles 2. It'll help you to better understand it.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Great.
And then you're gonna start doing classes in person now, or do you
Yes.
have some other stuff online again?
It's all in person. So we expanded our campus at Lamont Riggs.
Mhm.
So we now have new classroom space on the second floor.
Okay.
And so the dean and the other people in leadership really want us to be back in person on a regular basis, which I agree with. So I think that's what the plan is for it to all be in person.
Okay, so going forward, is everything gonna be at night, or are there gonna be any like morning or afternoon classes?
Great questions. So we do have some business classes in the daytime, but the majority of them are at night. And the reason for that is because we have a lot of our students work during the day, and so we try to
Okay.
accommodate the best we can.
Okay.
Great
That-
question.
Okay. I'm gonna get your hair, maybe some other.
Yeah, definitely. And reach out to Professor King and Dean Hacker, because they usually have pretty good insight into scheduling.
Okay. Okay. Cool. The name on too. So, I guess I'm the opposite in the business.
Yeah.
I
Well,
got morning, and at night, and
sure. Yeah, definitely check with them to see
right.
about the scheduling. I think that they would be the best people to reach out to. As a professor, we don't have
Okay.
the opportunity to set our own schedules. I wish we did.
that is. Yeah.
But yeah,
So, well, I guess
everything-
I passed finite.
That sounds good to me.
Because I don't play with my A.
Yeah, don't play. Don't play that game. Just knock it out.
That's my motto. I don't play with my A.
I know that's right.
I have
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate everything, Tanika. And well,
okay.
I'll be catching you again soon, okay?
Okay, take care. Have a
Alright.
great night. And
Sounds
happy
good. You too.
holidays to you.
Sounds good. Take care.
Bye.
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 Bye.